Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Yahweh who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahushai who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And this video is going to be a spiritual workout, okay, and spiritual flex. Okay, now the first scripture I'm going to get is the book of 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 15. It says, "Study to show thyself approved unto Yahweh, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth." But the point of the matter, it says study to show yourself approved, man. Okay, because, let me say this, man. A lot of brothers out there, haven't even read the Bible front to back yet, man. Okay, which don't get me wrong. I mean, the book is, a long book, man. Long book. Absolutely long book. But, we all should, at least read it one time, man. Okay, and many more than that. Okay, and, I've read the the book front to back, including the Apocrypha. I believe I did 2 years ago, I believe. Yeah, 2 years ago I read it front to back. And the reason why that is so important is that if you never read the book yourself in its entirety, if you do, then you have a advantage. You know why? Because if you debate somebody else who, quote unquote, believes in the scriptures, they is a 90%, if not 100% chance with majority of the people that, they never, read it before. Okay, it's a very high possibility that the people that you deal with, if you go to, debate a Christian or, all right, so yeah, I just had to check something real quick. But as I was saying, if you debate a, Christian or, Christian pastor especially, a lot of them never really even read the whole book, man. And if they did, you can, since you've read the whole book, now you can go into, their doctrine and prove that they're a liar, man. Okay, you can prove it. They don't know what the hell that they're, talking about. Let me say this, man. If you spend just, say 2 weeks, maybe a month, 4 weeks, watching GMS videos or, Sakari videos, even LUIC. But those guys are on a low level. Okay, but, if you watch the Israelites, and I mean, not the, fake Jews over in Israel, but, the real Jews, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. If you watch, these channels, man, you're going to be up on a level to, debate any pastor, man. Okay, because these pastors are on a low level, man. All right, they ain't really, capable of, putting up with, the arguments we can come with, man. Why? Because we studied the scriptures, man. Okay, matter of fact, not only the scriptures. Okay, this shouldn't just be, of course, scriptures come at number one, man. Okay, the scriptures, inside joke. The scriptures are at number one on the list of the book that we are to, study, man. Why? Because it is the number one book, man. Okay, it is the, most important. However, with that being said, there are other, stuffs that, you should read to give you, a better understanding about, things of the world or, even, aspects of the scriptures. Say, for example, history books. So you can learn more about the empires mentioned in the scriptures. And just, even reading, say, a novel, say, for example, let me just say something, man. Let me just say this. I myself, not to get into my personal business, but I never graduated from middle school, man. Okay, matter of fact, I barely even got through half of middle school. Okay, but you know what? And I was a terrible reader, man. I was like, when I, got out of school, I was like at, a damn third grader, level, man, at like, 11 years old. Okay? And, I'm not ashamed of that. You know why? Because the Lord said, first of all, Moses said, I'm not a man of much speech. Right? I'm not a man of much words. And scriptures also say the Lord has taken the meek and the low of the world and has revealed the, the knowledge of the scriptures unto them. Right? Not these, prideful ones out here, not these so-called, Bible scholars. No, you don't know this book. Okay, but you know what? I taught myself. Okay, I taught myself how to read. And you know what? I went from having a third grade, reading level at 11 years old to being, pretty much, I would say that I can read better than the average peon out there, right? Better than the average person, in other words. Okay, I can read very quickly. And I'd say I pretty much understand almost every word I come across. So how did I do that? How did I go from teaching myself from a third grade level all the way up to being above average in my reading and comprehension? And the way that I did that was what? By reading books. Okay, by reading books, you teach yourself. Okay, that's how you learn. Okay, is by teaching yourself. All right, so that's just my little testimony of how literally studying for yourself will make yourself approved, man. Okay, as I went from that low level to a higher level just by taking time to study and learn for myself. Okay, get back into the scriptures here. I apologize. I had to keep touching the screen every few minutes. It's giving me a problem where if I don't do that, it's going to turn the whole video off completely. It does that every once in a while. No idea why, but hey, that's part of the curses. Right? That's part of those curses, man. Okay, but anyway, let's go into the book of Ecclesiastes. Bear with me a second. Okay, Ecclesiastes, chapter. Let's go to the book of chapter 12. Oh, and while I'm looking at it, I should make a mention real quick. Is on the topic of say reading, right? On the topic of reading, I just literally this morning here, which is actually 4 o'clock in the morning, actually 5. Yeah, 5 o'clock and 5, almost 6 o'clock in the morning. Pretty early, but just not too long ago, I actually just ordered another 10 books to read, man. Right? Paid about, I believe, I got them on sale. Originally, it was about, brand new. If I got the books brand new, they wanted about, I believe, $250 for them, maybe $380 for them brand new. But they had another option where I could, get it used, and slightly, worn. Might have some highlighted pages, or maybe, a dented, or maybe a stain, front or something like that. And of course, handled by somebody else for me. But they were significantly cheaper than buying a brand new version. So you know what? I got 10 books that majority of them, I want to say about 8 of them have been used. And I ended up paying $130, $125 for all 10 of them, instead of paying $280 for them. Okay, so you have to be crafty like that. But the point of the matter, man, is you gotta study, man. Which pretty much the topics, books I got real quick. Don't want to ramble on, but I'll mention it anyway. Books I got real quick were what was that one book? 12 Years a Slave, which I've heard that's a pretty good book. I actually picked it up used for like $3 and $2 in shipping, so pretty much not bad for that. Survival books, always something that you should have, on hand. Learning to manage your money, another good one. The conspiracy books, always a good one. I believe I might have got, was it Behold the Pale Horse or something like that. And then I was checking out, what's that cat's name? John Taylor Gatto. You can look him up. I was checking out his books as well. But I decided not to get his because it's like $40 for it, and you couldn't buy a brand new. I mean, you couldn't buy a used copy, you had to buy a brand new one, so skipped out on that one. Another cool book I found on there, besides the Grimm's, fairy tales, was another book that I've actually heard of, called the Wreck of the Titan, and you can look into that. Pretty much, it was written, a few years before the Titanic. I believe it was 14 years for the Titanic, and it pretty much, is pretty much the exact same story. A few differences, but pretty much the exact same thing. You can look it up on YouTube, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But yeah, I found that on there. Picked that up. A few others, but the reason I mention all that, somebody's gonna say, well, why are you gonna mention that if it has nothing to do with the scriptures? Well, first of all, by reading, other things that are outside of the scriptures, for one, gives you a better, proper understanding because it increases your reading skills, for one. Because, certain times, man, the scriptures can be hard to, pronounce certain words, man. Okay? And that goes for all of us, man. We've all, got stumped on certain words used in the scriptures. Okay? Especially because it's, used, say, for example, instead of saying you, it will say thou. Okay? Just for an example. Okay? It will say, instead of you shall, it will say thou shall. Okay? So, sometimes it's not easy to understand. And that's just a simple level. Obviously, everybody should be able to understand that, but just for an example, you know what I'm saying? But by reading other books, it increases your intelligence. Okay? And I'm going to show you here. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12, and verse 12. It says, see real quick. Okay. It says, and further by these, my son, be admonished, of making many books there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. Let's read it again. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 12. And therefore by these, my son, be admonished, of making many books there is no end, and much study is a weariness of the flesh. And what does it mean, a weariness of the flesh? Meaning that it goes against your flesh, man. Your flesh wants to get up and, walk around. Nobody wants to read, a history book, man. Right? That's why, in school, what do most of the kids hate doing the most? What? Reading time. Most of them, that is. And why? Because that's a boring thing, man. Okay, we've all been there, and it still is today for many people, man. Matter of fact, it is a fact, right? In fact, it is a fact. Inside joke. In fact, it is a fact that majority of Americans do not even read one book a year. So a vast majority of, people you passed have never really picked up a book and read it front to end in the last, say 16, maybe to, probably 20 months. You guys be playing damn video games, which ain't nothing wrong with that, but it gotta increase your intelligence, man. And how do you do that? By picking up, books and reading. Okay, and that's why this is called, a spiritual workout, man. Okay, because how do you spiritually work out? And the way you spiritually work out is, by reading. Okay, by reading is how you, do a spiritual workout, man. Okay, because if you read, the more you will, memorize and take in more information that, you can use. Okay, just like, say, for an example, man, if you go to the gym, right, right, just like that, what was it? Yeah, just like Trump told Joe Biden at ERB, right? Why don't you get behind a gym, man? It's not a joke, but anyway, when you go to a gym, you don't just pick up weights and lift it for 5 minutes, go do treadmill, the dumbbells, the what is it, exercise bikes some of them have, and the other exercises and machines they got there that you can use. You don't just do that for an hour, then you go home and sit around all day And, then come back maybe 4 days later, you do it again, and the process completes. Now you got to be, active, man. You got to be active and really put time and effort into it. And if you don't, then you're not going to see much of a result, man. Okay, you're not going to see much of a result. Okay, and when we've all been there, man. We've all been there. I've, went times where I haven't read, for a few months on end. Okay, and you start forgetting certain things, man. And I'll admit that I'm guilty of that. And I've been there. But I try to do better, man. I try to do better. Right? I've read the entire Bible, but now I'm reading it over again. Okay, now it has to be read over again. Okay, you know why? And then let me say this as well. The Bible is not a book that, it can't be understood by reading it like a novel, right? It can't be understood that way. However, by reading it one time as a novel, as in front to back, it gives you a better understanding. Because now you can look at it, the way that an average person would look at it, and then you can try to explain, why their belief may be wrong. Okay, so read it one time as a novel. And when I say novel, as in, just front to back. Not, jumping from, Genesis, going to, New Testament, Apocrypha, then, picking up this book, that book. Read it one time all the way through, just as you would read a novel. And then, you go, precept upon precept, this book here lined up with that book. Because that's how you properly understand the scriptures. But you know what? It's just beneficial to one time read it as a novel so you can understand, the average person out there. Because the average person thinks that, that the Bible's like, for those who believe it's, not fiction, they believe it's, can be read as a novel. So if you read it yourself as a novel one time, you can understand their mindset. So you can refute their beliefs, if that makes any sense. Let's see. Let's get one more scripture. Oh, this is a good one. I like that one. Okay, Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 18. Well, actually, I'll start a little bit above.